House of Dragons ending a moral lesson or a convenient escapism. Welcome back to Artificial Radio. Today, we are diving into the explosive finale of Beau's House of the Dragon and the conversations it sparked about morality, television, and our own expectations as viewers. Speaking of which, I think it's worth noting that one of the reasons House of the Dragon's finale resonated with so many viewers is because it tapped into our deep-seated desire for resolution and closure. We've invested 8 episodes of our time into these characters, their struggles, and their scheming, and we crave a sense of justice being served. We want to see the wrongs righted, the bad guys punished, and the good guys rewarded. This is a fundamental aspect of our consumption of television shows, especially when they're as immersive and engaging as House of the Dragon. However, this desire for resolution can also lead to a sort of narrative escapism, where we suspend our critical thinking and judgment in favor of a more satisfying, if not always realistic, conclusion. For example, critics of the finale have pointed out that Rhaenyra's eventual rise to power feels more like a contrived narrative device than a genuine character development. Many have noted that her change of heart and decision to allow her family's enemies to live feels like a convenient way to wrap up the story, rather than an organic progression of her character. This, of course, raises questions about the show's treatment of morality and the consequences of our actions. If the writers had taken a more realistic approach to Rhaenyra's storyline, perhaps we would have seen a more nuanced exploration of the complexities of power, family dynamics, and the costs of revenge. Instead, we got a hasty resolution that, while satisfying in the short term, might leave us feeling a bit unsatisfied and disappointed in the long run. Let's dive a bit deeper into the character of Daenerys and the significant changes that were made to her storyline in the final season. For fans of George R.R. Martin's book series, A Song of Ice and Fire, Daenerys was a complex and multidimensional character whose transformation from a broken and abused slave to a powerful and feared leader was a central theme. She was often seen as the symbol of hope and freedom, with her break-the-wheel mantra resonating with audiences worldwide. However, in the final season of House of the Dragon, Daenerys is given a rather jarring and unnatural transition from a compassionate and wise leader to a ruthless and tyrannical one. This sudden change in character was met with widespread criticism from fans and critics alike, with many feeling that it was a major disservice to the character's rich history and development. Some have argued that this change was made in order to set up the eventual downfall of Daenerys, which is a classic trope in fantasy literature, but it felt rushed and unearned in this case. Perhaps the most striking example of this is the infamous Targaryen madness trope, which has been criticized for its overabuse in fantasy media. This trope suggests that Targaryens are prone to madness and tyranny due to their bloodline, which is a classic example of a convenient plot device. Moreover, this change in character also raises questions about the show's attempts to subvert the traditional fantasy hero narrative. Daenerys' descent into madness was meant to be a commentary on the dangers of unchecked power and the unintended consequences of idealism. However, the execution felt tone-deaf and heavy-handed, with the show relying on contrived. As a result, the show's message about the dangers of power and the importance of accountability was lost in the shuffle, and what was left was a jarring and unsettling viewing experience.